Hey y'all, I know it has been a very long time since I last talked to you all about something that has to deal with patch notes, but my whereabouts was I was having fun on Monster Hunter. That's it. All you gotta know, I was penetrating a lot of monsters, which it was wild. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the patch notes real fast. So jumping back into Final Fantasy 14, and let's go ahead and let's restart for this raid tier. Hi, my name is Glenn, and I'm now going to talk about the patch notes, as I am not happy with the patch notes either, besides Xeno. Let's go ahead and start with my best main classes, which is Healer. So I love Healer a lot. I've been playing Healer for a long time. You know about my history of Healer. Underrated classes are basically my go-to because of the fact that I can always make them look better and more promising, as I will most likely continue to do that. So, get straight into the patch notes. I'm looking at it right now. So, I'm happy that they buffed the single target dot damage for Scholar, White Mage, and Sage. Astro got a two target gain buff, which is nice. I honestly think it's nice, to be honest. As they probably possibility do not need it because of the fact that they were very good and overly buff anyway. And the fact that they got two light speeds to able to keep up with DPS and heal on the move if they have to, which is very good. That the fact that they can use their second light speed for not just damage increase, but for healing as well. So that's instant cast healing or damage as they you could choose it in like the duration of 12 seconds. But my main problem here in this patch notes is White Mage and Sage. Them two need a bit more love. I'm sorry. Like, let's start with White Mage. White Mage needs two asides to able to make it at least equal, not better than Astro, okay? But at least equal. And they're not doing that. They're allowing Astro to still overly dominate um White Mage. I'm not sure this raid tier gonna change that statement, but all I'm seeing is that like they just left White Mage with almost nothing again, besides a stupid dot increase as they did it before, and they end up had to buff them again after because they know that they messed up, and it's still not really good either way. But again, for some people out there, I'm not looking for a damage increase, even though I kind of am asking for a damage increase. But the thing is, I'm looking for like a way to make White Mage a little bit more fun than just sit there and just be a glare mage and then just use lilies whenever you almost overcap. That's not how I want it to be operated as I think this patch notes is rewarding harder playing jobs, except for machinists, than jobs that absolutely need it, since more players play these type of jobs, including in ultimates as well. And I do hope they one day give two asides to White Mage to make them more viable and better at not just low level again, but in the level 100s as well, because of the fact that they struggle to keep up if they don't crit on their damage, which is what makes them more better to have two asides than just one. But they don't want to make the class manageable on both the lilies and the size timing or the charges or anything else like that, making it harder, but whatever. Okay. So now, Sage, first time ever saying this in my career as a healer player, Sage need a little bit of a healing increase. I'm sorry. Like, the problem with Sage that some people will not point out, besides me, is that the fact that they need a healing increase. I know they are a shield stacking class, like they're able to shield stack Haima, Polos, right? It's nice and all, but now I'm starting thinking that that's all they got, and it's like shields are just kind of becoming obsolete as a mitigation as they get up in levels, including as a sage who knows that Penheim is nice to have a shield hero apply, but and you can shield stack it too, but it's will always require you to shield because of the fact that your shielding potency is just low. All right, you always have to pop an OGCD to able to survive and take a little bit less damage compared to like Scholar who could just pop a shield, right, and somewhat be okay. And it's just annoying me that they're not really giving out the equal love of how they're giving it out to Scholar at the beginning of Dawn Trail versus Sage that only got Pancardia. Like it's okay, but it's like you always have to pop something to able to heal, which is nice. But the problem is you always have to pop a OGCD before you shield or after you shield. And it's always either Ixocore after you shield or Physis 2 before you shield, Philosophia before you shield, Caracol after you shield. Like it's like you always gotta pop something to able to keep up with the team HP because say for example, one day you might run into a bad white mage one day that does not know how to heal, which by the way, I'm not gonna say much, but all I'm gonna say is that these type of instances can happen at some point of time, which is what's more beneficial to make sure that Sage is able to heal and able to keep up with the other healers. Otherwise, Sage is just a class that you always have to pop an OGCD before or after you shield, which is annoying. And this is a time where I'm gonna tell you straight up that they need to really think about the healers a little bit. Otherwise, it's just going to be a weird class to play. But anyways, enough with the healers now. Now I want to talk about a certain class that a certain person has complained about, and I, as a healer main, I want to also address this as well because it's not just him; it's also me who is going to address this as well. And I hope it gets passed, and I hope it goes out there. But warrior is still one of the classes that struggles in mitigation, right? Even if the buffs is really nice, they get a 1, 2, 3 potency increase, upheaval potency increase, not two target gain, but like um the two target multi target damage increase percentage wise, whatever. It's nice. I get it. But it still makes Warrior still have the same stance as how they was and still will forever be is with mitigation, right? Once your damnation, I hope I get that one right. Damnation, the upgrade version of vengeance, right? Rampart and Bloodwedding. Like once you run out all those three best cooldowns that you got, and you left with Thrill Battle. Let's be honest here. Thrill Battle is the one main problem that Warrior has of why they still don't have good mitigation, right? I feel like Bulwark is a little bit more better, but let's talk about it real fast now. Um, Throw a battle is only a health increase, just like protraction. It's just a health increase. Okay, say for example you're in DSR, right? And the Hollow Wing from Part 6 does 100% of your HP if you don't mitigate it. You're still taking that same 100% to your HP, and that's what's the problem with Warrior is that the fact that your thrill battle only increase your HP, but would not prevent you from taking the same amount of percentage damage as that tank buster is going to hit you very hard. And if you miss the mitigation, obviously you would know what happens. Yeah. So it's still not good. I mean, I still get why they buff the other hard playing classes besides machinists. But they're rewarding hard playing jobs over easy playing jobs. Like Warrior basically got like a potency 1, 2, 3 increase with the upheaval. That's it. They don't get nothing much after that. And I do see why. But at the same time, they're still not gonna fix their mitigation that they most likely have. But I digress. I will continue with the patch notes as we don't have that much time. They buff Gunbreaker Lion combo. And this is where I'm gonna tell you that again, they only rewarding hard playing jobs except for machinist. Okay. literally, that's weird. And for them to buff Gunbreaker, like the harder hitting job in the game, and always have been a hard hitting job like since they came out, it's like it's weird that they doing that. But at the same time, it's like I get it. Um, but at the same time, it's like I don't. I don't know why they did that. Where Warrior and Paladin is the one I need to buff because of the fact that they the most easier job to play, but at the same time, um, it doesn't make sense of why they would do that. They shouldn't really buff Gunbreak in my opinion. That was kind of big of a mistake, but we'll see why. Okay, maybe the rate tier will probably make us see why. Okay, maybe it will change. So now for Dark Knight, percentage AOE increase, whatever. The impalement got nerfed, which is just a delirium AOE version of Quietus. Uh, very nice, whatever. Right? Cool. Now I want to talk about the DPS. Let's go ahead and start with the melees. There's nothing much really to say about the melees, as they want the melees to do a focus target on one target, and buffing their damage is what they basically do. Their single target damage, to be exact. They want them to focus on one target, and that's basically about it. Dragoon got a overall buff, and it's very nice they got overall buff. They basically don't want melees to be spamming AoEs and gaining two target gains. I guess they against that, so I guess they just want to change that a bit and make them focus on one target, which is nice, which is a little bit less stressful to probably press a different button, I guess. Cool. Now I want to talk about physical range. Now for the physical range, except for machinists, right? I will be talking about them separately here. But for Bard and Dancer, they got an overall buff, which is very nice for the AoE buff. It's just an AoE buff, by the way, just letting you know. It's an AoE buff changes, to be exact, because some of them got a drop off. Otherwise, their AoE spam got a damage increase, which is very nice. Two target gain, I guess, for physical ranges. Um, Now for machinists, man. Oh man, machinists. I had to talk to you a little bit before I get to the mages. Um, it's a tradition at this point. A tradition where machinist is always going to be the bottom of all bottoms of the DPS chain. It's always super bad, right? At the beginning of the tier to the middle. Like it's always the beginning of the tier or the next tier bracket. It's always machinists suffering, sucking, not good at all. And it's always them having problems with keeping up with the other DPS due to the fact that it's supposed to be a dry DPS physical range class, but it don't feel like it at all. They don't. I feel like Black Mage is more viable and more better. And they are a casting class. I do not know why Machinist is just always at the dead bottom and never get anything good. Like, that's the only class that's suffering right now. Otherwise, the other classes get a good ass buff, while Machinist just gets nothing but a AoE nerf. It's like barely a change there. It's nothing good at all. And I do hope they see this and change and help Machinist out. Otherwise, Machinist is just going to remain like this until they figure something out with the next expansion. So now for the mages. We're done with Machinist. It's just a tradition, all right? So Pentamancer, their motifs were doing way too much crazy damage. That includes Starry Prison, where you get from Starry Muse, the creature motifs, that includes Palm Muse and everything else that comes with it. And of course, the Hammer Stand was doing a crazy amount of damage. And I'm glad they're able to fix that. Instead, they buffed their single target damage to able to make sure that they not completely getting gutted. And that includes Comet in Black and Holy in White, which is very good, and that's an overall buff. Well, not really overall buff, but it's like very good to, you know, make sure that they don't do a crazy amount of damage before and after the downtime mechanic. Great. So Black Mage, let's get over with this real fast. Okay, Black Mage got a change to make sure that they're able to cast on the move more faster and able to be a mobile black mage, which that's a decent change that they want to do. That means that they got rid of the Enochian timer. So as the fire starter and the thundercloud timer, uh, and you don't have to worry about managing anything, but pay attention to your mana so you can use your despair, and then use the mana font to regain the mana and then just do it again. Okay? Which is very nice, way to make them do stuff on the move, and not make other people adjust for you, as you are now a mobile mage, as they're going to eventually make every single mage mobile eventually, and I knew they were going to do that. But sadly, they had to nerf and decrease the duration timer of um, ley lines, and of course, Anakian got nerfed again from 25% to 22%. That trait got nerfed again. Oh boy. Anyway, I know there's gonna probably be a potency change soon. I hope they do potency changes before the raid tier starts, like the savage raid tier starts. I'm fully ready. I got my weapons anyway. From the extreme, very nice. Now let's quickly talk about red mage. They don't get that much, but it's still very good. Bison, Thorn, and Prefulgence both got 100 potency increase in damage. That means that if 2 minutes is more stronger. Very nice. For Summoner, they only buff Necrotize and Exodus. And Exodus is solo Bahamut OGC damage, by the way. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but they're still going to struggle. They still need a potency increase because it doesn't make up the fact that they still bad downtime. Without a target, you can't summon your big summons nor your primal summons. And this is the problem that everybody or some people still have, as Summoner still needs a change, to able to get back the summons on time, and that includes in 1 minute burst as well. But overall, this patch notes is not really good. I still see better patch notes back in the past. Machinist still needs a buff, in my opinion. Um, White Mage, in my opinion, still needs a second of size. Sage need a potency healing increase. Um, Warrior is not being valued as much as the other tanks are. And of course, the Gunbreaker ended up being the golden child. Um, Melees are now prioritizing more single target damage than AoE two target gains. Then I guess that's interesting to see, but let's see how everybody else feel about that. And now we got the mages, like Black Mage got rid of skill ceiling cap, making it much more easier for casual gamers to play them, even though their potency got gutted. Hit potency swap because of the fact that their motifs will do more damage than their actual spells. And then you got Red Mage getting a good buff. Summoner still needs a buff because of the fact that if there's going to be any more downtime mechanics, at least make Summoner do a little bit more damage before the downtime mechanic happen, making it more better. Overall, this patch was not really good, but let me know your thoughts down below. Otherwise, this patch notes is not really the best. But I do hope in the future they make better patch notes and do update these classes. I'm gonna see you guys later, and I'm gonna see you guys around. Nice to meet you all again. Love you all. Mwah.